I'm going to go ahead and bring in the panel for tonight. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing? Hey, hey.
Hi.
Hey, welcome back, Jamie, and also welcome back, Rose.
Thank you.
Hopefully, all the information we discussed tonight will be a hot topic. So, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you for joining us. You know what? Yesterday I was asking, I was talking actually to Mr. PhD, you know, about some of the topics that we're going to be talking about today. And I have a list here that we're going to be talking about. But before we get into the topics, we do have Jaime here. Jaime, as I mentioned in the intro, you have different project that you're working on, and one of them is the Outgrowth. And I believe that it's a great platform and a resource for for the nail community. And so we wanted to get an update on some of the things that you're working on that that affects the nail community. You know, has there been anything change? Have you been busy? I have no idea.
Well, we haven't talked because I have been busy. It's not that I've been neglecting you. It's been an interesting start to the year, and my co-host Ashley Gregory Hackett and I have launched a new series to start our second year of podcasting, and that series is all around business basics. We've realized listening to people ask questions, whether they're typing them out in a post or sending us private messages, they really don't understand some of the things that are necessary to get a business started. I almost wish Mike Woe were here for this conversation. We could talk about it some other time, but it's so interesting to hear the same questions get asked over and over and over again. And when people ask them on social media, they're not often getting the right answer.
Yes, yeah. So it's so funny. So you basically saying that something as simple as just being able to start a business is the information that the industry is needing right now, huh? Isn't it weird?
Yes, we've already launched the first two episodes that we had are in this series. The first one was on picking your business name, and the second one was on branding, which follows on the heels of picking your business name, because all of those decisions, they can be really expensive if you do it the wrong way to begin with, and you can get yourself into some legal trouble if you infringe on someone else's name.
Yeah, I know. It's just so, man. I'm just interested. It's just interesting that in the midst of this whole like crisis that we're going through, we hear that the business is going out of business, and yet it seems like you providing information for people but I want to start business. Or is this like reconstructing their own business? Could what is it?
That's an excellent point, Kelvin.
Yeah.
Actually, it's both, because you might be interested in starting a business or positioning yourself somewhat differently and giving yourself a fresh start. So you'd be rebranding yourself. So
Yes.
whether or not you're starting from scratch or trying to update yourself, there are a lot of things to consider, and there are decisions to be made that you need to think through, not just from the legal aspect of it, but just in terms of like what the connotations are. I know we're talking later on this evening about the horrible racism that we're witnessing more and more. And I don't know if it's just that we're seeing it more,
Yeah.
that we're actually watching it happen, or there's more of it, or that more people who are victimized feel more confident coming forward. It could be all these things combined. Obviously, I think some people feel more emboldened to behave badly, which is horrible. But in the midst of all of this, I want to bring, and as does my co-host Ashley, information to people so that we can be on solid ground, that we can set a foundation for ourselves and feel more grounded in what we're doing. And anything that we can do to help someone, we want to be able to do that.
I want to get an update in California. By the way, Rose, you live in what state do you live in? I don't know why I want to say Ohio.
Maryland.
What the hell I get Ohio from?
Very close.
I'm actually from like the Philadelphia area, and I just moved to the DC metro area about 4 years ago.
Wow. Okay. So you in the you. So okay. So you definitely would be able to give us, some information about the East Coast. That's even better. All right. One of the first thing I actually want to, discuss about is the PPE, all the safety equipment that, it was a big old topic about a year ago, when it first came out. Okay. All right. That was a big thing. And so I want to just get some feedbacks on what definitely the mask is still being used. The glove is still being used. Is the goggle and the shield face being used, Mr. PhD, in your salon?
Some of them still using it, but I also recommend it for the manicure to use it. If they don't, it should be okay to me.
Hang on. You said when they don't use you all three of them, they use the mask. They use the mask, of course. They use the glove still. But the other one, the face shield, it's an option now. No, we already said. Yes.
And actually, the face shield is not required from health department or the CDC. That is an add-on for
that we
more
chose.
safety.
That we chose as a community to do, right? To try to get us open. You remember that, Jaime? Okay.
And also we use the table shield.
Yes.
And when you do the pedicure, you do the.
And you get the pedicure.
Pedicure.
That was the big thing. So. Could you give us an update on in your salon right now? Do you still have the table shield on and the pedi shield, or no? Or you never had it?
Yes, we do have it, and we're still using it, and that also unfolds in the store. Yes.
Okay. Oh, so you still use it, huh? Jaime,
Yep.
how about you, man? I remember, if I remember correctly, you had your own room and you didn't need that or something like. Am I right? Am I pretty good at that? Memories?
Actually, we do the services with the client seated in a leather recliner.
Yes.
So we never had any of the plexiglass. We didn't do the plexiglass. We wore the visors instead, and we're still wearing visors.
Oh,
and we are still doing no simultaneous appointments.
Okay.
So we're not able to schedule the way we normally would. We really haven't changed much in the way we've done things since last June. When we reopened, we're still operating the same way. We still have clients sign the same waiver. So not much has changed.
Okay, good. But from what I remember, you didn't go crazy like a lot of the people. I'm just curious. How about you, Rose? Did you buy the table shield in your area?
I'm still
Maryland?
closed.
Oh, you.
I'm still closed because I own a mobile business, and I'm not comfortable yet going into other people's homes. You just don't know what you're putting yourself at risk for, who they've been around, where they work. So yeah.
Oh my God! What a perfect guess. I do you know what, Jaime? I mean, we spoke to salon owners and so forth, but we haven't spoke to a mobile business owner. Yeah, that actually they're still closed. And my first thought was, damn, Maryland is tough. They still closed. The business still closed down. No, so the business is already opened up, right, Rose?
Most salons around here are open. They have restrictions, and there are
what is it?
Capacity limits. There's health initiatives and that kind of stuff. But it's a personal choice right now.
Yeah, yes, totally. It's a personal choice, and everybody should have their own choice to make. Totally understand. And I see your concern about having your space, your salon, like Jaime, where she can control the environment to a certain extent, compared to like, hey, come on over to my house and provide a service. That, folks, is scary. So. Man, so you still close. So I mean, are you doing different things on the side right now to compensate for for being to close your business, or what?
Well, about 4 years ago, I inherited a license for spa products from a client of mine who went out of business. And I worked with a cosmetic chemist, and we developed a full line of spa products. And it was sitting for years because I didn't have the time or really the effort, the motivation, I should say,
Right.
behind it. And it is ready to go. And that's actually when I had reached out to you this week about just some logistics, shipping logistics and that kind of stuff. And it's almost ready to go.
How weird. So again, is you have an example of like in the midst of a crisis, something came out. Not guaranteed what's going to happen. We wish you the best of luck, of course. It seems like you have a brand, so there might potentially be a nail brand coming out again or something. Ooh,
yeah.
Okay, folks, keep an eye out for that.
That's a teaser.
Rose Nail Design. Anyway,
It's,
yeah.
The brand is called Apothecary Pro.
In regards to the reopening in Maryland, are you guys? You said you open with a certain capacity. Is it what is the capacity right now limit in Maryland?
I believe. Well, I live in Montgomery County, which is the strictest of all counties in Maryland, and I believe we're still at 50%.
Damn, the strictest at 50%. Did we made it out of the 25% yet, Mr. PhD? I'm still at the 25%, sir.
Oh wow.
No, I think in Los Angeles County and Orange County it's a 50%. Probably
Where?
like about a month already.
Really? Can you confirm that, Miss Jaime Schrabeck? Because I don't know. People, salon owners in Orange County and stuff, they do a little bit different there.
My county mistakenly posted that we had to abide by some sort of capacity restriction. It's like, wait a second, you never had a capacity restriction on us, and there was no capacity restriction on our industry at the state level. You have that wrong.
All right. Usually, when you go to the restaurant,
yes,
you have you can see the capacity. That means number of occupants come in at the same time.
Yes.
For example, they say capacity is 50. That were maximum for the 50 people. And then right now, if you in the 50%, you only serve it 25 people. For the restaurant.
For the restaurant. Okay, got it. But
sometimes some of the restaurant like a big, they capacity 200 or something like that.
Okay.
So they imply the restriction from the health department. But actually, from the beginning until now, for the nail salon, I don't see any restriction on the capacity. Remember, if you can come into the nail salon like about 1,200 square feet, they have like about 10 people working and then 10 customers plus 5 customers waiting. It's only like 25 people there.
Yeah.
Compared to the 1,200 square foot of the restaurant, the capacity is only 50.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't see any restriction on the nail salon at all. But the only thing is we need to follow the CDC guideline and also the California Department of Health and also county health services official. Like, first of all, we already wear masks, which is we done it from the beginning until now, and we're still using masks. We asking the customer wash their hand before to do any service, which is, we're still using it. The manicurists wear gloves, and also, such requirement from the California Health Department is almost the same thing with even less than the requirement from the BBC, Barbering and Cosmetology. So we follow them all the time. And right now is for me, for the nail salon, we only follow the social distance from the guidelines. It means we try to let the waiting people sitting like 6 feet away, and also not too many people in the salon. For example, like the nail salon with the 3,000 square feet is only right now, it's not the full force working. It's only 10 people working with the 10 customers and then 5 customers waiting. That's not enough for the 10% or 15% of the capacity of a 3,000 square feet nail salon.
I actually looked up my county while we were chatting real quick, and it is appointment only in my county. Appointment only, and one customer for every 200 square feet.
Wow. Wow, that means oh my God, let's say for every how many square feet for 100 square feet for each customer, or how many?
200 square feet
200 square
for
feet.
one customer.
And that's not one. When they say customer, that's not including the tech, right? That's one person, right, Jamie? That's why I'm confused. Yeah. When they say one customer, does that meaning the customer and including the tech that provide the service, or what, guys? I don't know. And I'm pretty sure
it should be one-on-one, yeah.
It says service delivery space. So that would include the technician.
Jamie, okay. I just want to be sure, folks, because a lot of people, they confuse, okay? And they don't know. So a 200 square feet space is required for two people in this case, right? That's what you guys say.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But that's where she is, not in California. That was not something. Let's not confuse things. That wasn't happening in California.
That's why I'm saying. So, folks, Rose just mentioned. Rose just that's the requirement for Maryland, in the state that she lives in, and her particular county. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Going back, Jamie, could you give Can you connect what Mr. PhD was saying to what you were expressing?
Well, just that we haven't seen any updated guidance. We're still working from guidance that's dated October 20th. And I have a fear, and I've expressed it everywhere, that they're just going to forget about us. We're going to be last in terms of them looking at our guidance saying, yeah, you don't have to do that anymore. But we're working by appointment only still. We're not able to give people food and beverage. I mean, there's like so many different things that we're still doing. We're still wearing gloves all the time. We don't touch anyone's skin at all. We're not as crazy about the surface cleaning as we used to be, because now we realize through the CDC and studies, and even Ashley and I have talked about this on the podcast. In fact, we had one just this week, our newest episode, Clean Hands, Safe Salons, Part 5. We are dealing with the fact that, hey, we know we're a little bit smarter now, and we realize that we don't have to be quite as crazy with the surface cleaning above and beyond what our state board requires.
That came out of the story. From what I remember, it was a lot of the salon was owned by Chinese, and there was a lot of illegal workers and so forth was going on, and somehow because we all we in the same group. It got transferred over to the Vietnamese. But from what I know, and Mr. PhD, you can confirm that with me, the Vietnamese salon owner, a nail salon owner that living here, that actually have business and so forth, they don't really, they have a pretty much, set up structure that, their employees getting paid and so forth. I don't, so I just want to get that clear. From what I remember, it was more of the Chinese nail salon in the East Coast that was happening, and not, the Vietnamese salon. Am I correct, Mr. PhD?
I remember, like Jamie say, around 2015, there be a manicurist talking to one of the journalists who come in and do the manicure. So the problem is burst up, and they wrote the article. And I remember at that moment, too many nail salons in New York and also the nearby state is Connecticut got inspected by the government, but so far none of the Vietnamese old nail salon get that problem, because they hire all the licensed manicurists rather than other people. They just open the shop, and then they hire people with okay, I'll pay you like a $20 a day or $50 a day. If you make more than that, and I will split with you for the behind, something like that. But fortunately for the Vietnamese nail salon owner in New York and Connecticut, we don't have any one of them get into that problem.
Wow. So
that's a good point.
So here's something I want to say to that. If that's the case, then these salon owners should support this act, because it's unfair competition that
Yeah.
these others, if there are other salons, and I'm not going to peg it in terms of race, because it could happen across
Yeah.
any sort of
yeah.
it could happen anywhere, and with any group, right?
Yes.
So really, as one of the elected said this morning, this is not an anti-business bill. This is a bill that holds owners accountable. So it's really, like it's supporting, it's a pro-business bill, but it's a pro-businesses that are compliant bill, right? It's helping them compete fairly in the marketplace.
Me personally, I don't really take none of those really. Well, the governor, it was a big thing for me. But Trump, honestly, maybe I thought he was an interesting character. He got away with it in my eyes. But now, because of like the violence and so forth, I'm not blaming him. Like I mentioned in the beginning, it's not here to blame anybody. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on, does it have an impact? Did it have an impact in your opinion in what's going on? Okay. And if so, what do we need to do to reduce it? Okay. So, not even looking for blame, but just getting your opinion. Did it have an impact on the increase? Because out of nowhere, all, brothers is getting beat down.
Yeah.
I to the point where I feel like, is it a conspiracy theory? I'm talking seriously, to the point where is somebody paying these people to beat up this old Asian people? There's something there. It's a pattern and stuff, but I just don't know. So I want to get your opinion on that. What's your take on that, Rose?
I think that the last president emboldened people that have maybe had those prejudices and racist thoughts for many years, but they weren't comfortable, because for a long time it wasn't, you don't say things out loud, you don't do certain things. Whatever goes on in the comforts of your own home is one thing, but you were not comfortable to say those things in public. And I think that the last president emboldened those people to come out and essentially reveal themselves and to start treating people unfairly again. I am married to an African-American man. So I have seen firsthand what life is like, doing that and just experiencing discrimination and prejudice. And I always tell people that I think the bridge to find a way is empathy and compassion. You don't get it until you care for or love someone that is different than you. So until someone that you really matters to you is affected by those things that happen, it's very hard for people to understand or to build compassion. And I see people that I went to high school with, they're just rude and biased, and they can't even take accountability and say, you know what, maybe I should do a little bit of self-reflection. Maybe I do, have some tendencies to make inappropriate jokes. Or maybe I do have a tendency to jump to a certain conclusion. They're not even willing to do the work. So I think there's a category of people that we're not going to get to for a while. And I think that's sad. But I mean, my line on Facebook hasn't changed. It says, an injustice for one is, silence in the face of injustice is whatever the rest of it is. And I truly believe that. And I think that we all need to look inside and say, what are our own personal biases and how can we overcome them? Yeah. Some people just don't want to do that. And I don't really have the answer for them at the moment.
Yeah. You brought up a very interesting point. There will always, right? I think we all have, been around this life enough to come to accept that there will always be people that will go the opposite way, and that's expected, I guess, because of it's been happening on a regular basis. Again, what Jaime said, is it because we're more exposed to it, or has it been happening that is being discussed about right now? So, Jaime, what's your take on it?
You're asking the white woman in the room who does not have, a close connection other than, friends and colleagues. Really, I don't have family members that I can point to and say, what's your experience as an Asian American or a Black American? I can't do that. So in my case, I think what's happened is, as an industry, we like to talk about how, we're all in this together and we're all in the same industry, that sort of thing. But we really, over decades, have operated in these silos.
Yep.
Where, we go to different events, we follow different influencers. There's just been, a very narrow range of experience that we have as professionals, and we see the same clients, and it goes on and on and on, and we just never really break through. And I think if we don't already have that empathy just through our own upbringing and our own experiences, I think we can become very callous and not realize what it means to have those experiences. And why is it, Rose, I'll say this, why is it that someone has to experience it to be empathetic? Why can't we just put the whole thing with COVID? Why does someone have to die before you take it seriously? Someone you actually know, before you believe that people are dying from COVID. It's hard for me to rationalize that. Why can't we just all understand this from the perspective of being human beings? But I will say that, Kelvin, that you making this available to me to participate in, we've developed a relationship that we wouldn't have had otherwise. You would have been doing your thing and I would have been doing my thing, and I would have been yelling you about AB5 and you would have been ignoring me.
No, so basically,
that's just one example. That's just one example. But I think what will help us move forward is recognizing that this is happening, recognizing that we have parts of our industry and individuals in our communities who are much more vulnerable based on so many different factors, whether it's their education level, poverty, housing, access to healthcare, whatever it is. We have vulnerable members in our community that, for many of them, they're just invisible to us. Unless we are opening our eyes to them, they are invisible, and we don't want them to be invisible anymore. We want to have these connections.
Right. On this topic, and something as simple as having a loving conversation with your clients. Right? So let's start by talking about it, not making somebody wrong, by talking about it. And I think through talking about it, it will cause, change. What kind of change? I can only hope for the best. Right, folks? What do you guys think on that? Cool?
I agree. And I think the more we talk, the more we'll realize that we have much more in common than we do have in different.
Yep, you got it. All right, folks. On that note, I know we can continue on talking. However, we already went over our limit already by 15 minutes. So you guys are so bad. Just yapping all the time. I wish I had Mike Vo. Mike Vo, you got to come back, because without you, we hit over. I don't care. That's all good. Nobody's paying us anyway. All right. On that note, what I normally like to do, of course, is to give Mr. PhD, unless you have something else to say. I always appreciate you, my brother, of course, like always. But I like to give our two guests 30 seconds or so to, we're trying to cut our time in half now. No more 1 minute. 30 seconds just to give, so they can leave some thoughts to our viewers. We start off, go ahead with Jaime. Jaime?
I just want to say, I don't want to add any more to what you said, because I want to end on that, but let's do this more often so that we don't have to go overtime.
Thank you, love. Okay, I suck as a host. Rose, is there any message you want to leave for our viewers before you leave today?
I just want to say thanks for having me. And I think that when we bridge the different avenues, I guess, of the nail industry together, we can start bridging those. We can be more unified.
You got it. Do you want to go ahead and give a plug out to the new line that's coming out? Where they can get more information on it?